Hi everyone, my name is Corinna and I'm happy to give you an overview of our paper, People Are Not Coins. This paper is a reply to Brian Haddon's recent paper on statistical criteria of algorithmic fairness. In his paper, Haddon shows that most fairness criteria that he considers are not necessary conditions for fairness. Our paper questions the practical relevance of these findings for machine learning practitioners by showing that Haddon's argument doesn't apply to the kinds of predictions that we usually deal with in machine learning. The field of algorithmic fairness has developed many fairness criteria. Haddon's paper shows that most of the fairness criteria that he looks at in his paper are not necessary conditions for fairness. And for this, he uses an example in which people are given coins. A person with a coin that lands heads is considered a heads person, and the task is to predict whether a person is a heads person. The predictive algorithm just looks at the coin's probability of landing heads to make this prediction. Haddon constructs a case in which this perfectly fair prediction of being a heads person violates most fairness criteria that he considers, and from that he follows that these fairness criteria are not necessary conditions for fairness. Now, we do not contest the correctness of this argument, but we do contest its relevance for machine learning practitioners. And to show this, we distinguish two kinds of predictions that are different from a moral perspective. The first kind of predictions are based on data from many people, and the second kind of predictions are based on data from only one person. Now, clearly in machine learning, we pretty much always follow the first approach when we make predictions about people, because data from one person would never be enough to properly train a machine learning model. The second kind of prediction is easy to do with coins, though. We can toss a single coin 1,000 times and get a pretty good estimate of how likely it is that this coin will land heads or tails in the next toss. But this is almost impossible to do with people because people are not coins. Haddon's argument relies on the second kind of prediction, so on predictions that are based on data from only that one person. And because of that, we argue that his argument does not apply to most machine learning applications, which use the first kind of predictions. With these two kinds of predictions in mind, you may argue that the first kind of predictions are always morally wrong, actually, and we should always treat people as individuals. So talking about the necessity of fairness criteria for the first kind of predictions is pointless. And to that, we reply that such predictions may still be morally appropriate if they prevent a bigger harm, and fairness criteria can help us ensure this. In conclusion, our paper shows that one should not disregard the fairness criteria listed by Haddon as not necessary, just because they're not necessary conditions for all predictive models. Most machine learning applications are not vulnerable to Haddon's argument because they base their predictions on data from many people. The fairness criteria considered by Haddon could still be necessary conditions for fairness in some cases. Thank you so much for listening, and we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this.